rupa. In the Kevata Sutta, it is said that the question, where do the four Mahabhuta finally cease, is wrongly asked, and that the question should be, where do get no footing? Where do the four Mahabhuta get no footing? Where do Nama and Rupa finally cease? Matter or substance, rupa, is essentially inertia or resistance, or as the four Mahabhuta, it can be regarded as the four kinds of behavior. Behavior or inertia is independent of the particular sense experience that happens to be exhibiting it. A message in the Morse code, which would be a certain complex mode of behavior, could be received in any sense experience, though seeing and hearing are the most usual. In any one kind of sense experience, there is a revealed a vast set of various behaviors, of various patterns of inertia, and in any other contemporary sense experience, there is revealed a set that, to a great extent, corresponds to this first set. One particular group of behaviors common to all my sense experience is of especially significance. It is this body. Ayam kayo rupi chatum mahabutiko. This body, composed of matter, of the four great entities. Thus, when I see a bird opening its beak at intervals, I can often at the same time hear a corresponding sound, and I say that it is the visible bird that is audibly singing. The fact that there seems to be one single calling elaborate set of behaviors common to all sense experience at any one time, and not an entirely different set for each sense, gives rise to the notion of one single material world, revealed indifferently by any one of my senses. Furthermore, the material world of one individual hardly corresponds to that of another, particularly if allowance is made for difference in point of view. And we arrived at the wider notion of one general material world common to all individuals. The fact that a given mode of behavior can be common sense experience of two or more different kinds, show that it is independent of any one particular kind of consciousness, like a given perception flow. For example, it is dependent upon eye consciousness and not upon ear consciousness or the others. The being independent of any one particular kind of consciousness is independent of all kind consciousness except for its presence or existence. One mode of behavior can be distinguished from another, and in order that this can be done, they must exist. They must be present, either in reality or in imagination. They must be cognized, but since it makes no difference in what form they are present, whether as sight or sound, and even with one as visible and one as audible, and one real and one imaginary. The difference between them is not a matter of consciousness. Behavior, then, in itself does not involve consciousness, as perception does. And rupa khanda is not pasapacaya, as the sanat khanda is. Sivajima, in itself purely as inertia or behavior, matter cannot be said to exist. And if it cannot be said to exist, it cannot be said to cease. Thus the question, where do the four Mahabhuta finally cease, is improper. The question will have been asked with the notion in mind of an existing general material world common to all. Such a general world could only exist and cease if there were a general consciousness common to all. But this is a contradiction, since consciousness and individuality. But behavior can get a footing in existence by being present in some form, the rupa, the namarupa, the four Mahabhuta, therefore the existence as the behavior or appearance, just as a feeling, perception, and intentions get a borrow the substance as the appearance of behavior. And namarupa is the condition for vijnana, as vijnana is for namarupa. When vijnana is anitasana, it is said to have ceased, since abhisa ceased. Thus, with cessation of vijnana, there is cessation of namarupa, and the four Mahabhuta no longer get a footing in existence. The passage at Salayatana Samyutta, Bhikkhu Chatunam Mahabhutanam samudayam cha atta kamam cha yaha yatta buddham vajanati. A monk understands as they really are the arising and ceasing of the four great entities. Is to be understood in this sense. From the foregoing discussion, it can be seen that in order to distinguish rupa from nama, it is only necessary to separate what is or could be common to two or more kinds of consciousness from what is not. But care is needed. It might seem that shape is rupa and not nama, since it is present in both eye consciousness and body consciousness, touching with the fingers. This, however, is a mistake. Vision is a double faculty. It cognizes both color and shape. The eye touches what it sees. It is only necessary to run the eye first across, then down some vertical lines or bars to discover this, and the result is called the shape. The eye is capable of intentional movement more delicate even than the fingers, and the corresponding perception of shapes is even more subtle. Similar considerations apply, though in a much lesser degree, to hearing, and even to taste and to smell. The perception of shape, when present, however regularly, corresponds to movement, real or imaginary, which will include the direction, effect of two ears, or of the hand, or of the entire body. Approved different kinds of consciousness are adequately distinguished. This method gives a definite criterion for telling what is matter from what is not. It is consequently not necessary to look for strict analysis of the four Mahabhuta, provided only that our idea of them conforms to this criterion, and that they cover all the primary modes of matter. This is all that is needed. Thus, it is not necessary to look beyond the passage at Matsima for definition of them. It is easy but fatal to assume that the Buddha's teaching is concerned with analysis for its own sake, and then to complain that the analysis is not pushed far enough. A human body is in action clearly enough will present a behavior that it is a highly complex combination of these primary modes. It is the behavior of a behavior, but it still does not get beyond behavior. It is important to note that the laws of science of biochemistry, chemistry and physics in particular, do not cover behavior associated with conscious action. Finished.